Welcome to Bold SnapReporter. This video is part 4, titled A Master Detail Report. The purpose of this video is to explain how to create a report that contains detailed information under a main heading. We recommend, if you haven't done so already, view parts 1 through 3 of the SnapReporter series. SnapReporter is able to generate reports with detailed subgroups of information. In this video, we're going to create a list similar to the previous reports, but within each list will be a subgroup of information related to the main section of information. The main or master information will be the customer ID and customer name. Beneath each listing of customer ID and customer information will be contact list details for that customer. Let's get started. First, locate the icon on desktop labeled SnapReporter and double-click. Since we created a data source in part 2, we need to connect to it. If you're not connected to a data source, simply click on the name of the data source on the left and enter your Manitou username and password. As a reminder, you must have permissions to use Supervisor Workstation to be able to log in and begin using the SnapReporter. By now you're familiar with locating customer ID and customer name in the docking panel. In addition, we're going to need to locate the item in the docking panel labeled Customer Contacts. You'll notice when you find this item that there is an arrow just to the left of it that indicates that there is more information available. Click this arrow and you'll see just what information is available. In this case, we are looking for contact full name, web ID, and contact password. As you've done before, use Control-Click to highlight all the necessary fields. Again, they are Customer ID, Customer Name, then under Customer Contacts section, Contact Full Name, Web ID, and Contact Password. Drag the data onto the report editing surface. You'll see that there is an entry for each customer ID and name, followed by the contact list details for each customer. You'll also notice that the heading for customer ID and customer name are not repeated, which might get confusing on a long report. Don't worry, because we'll deal with that in just a moment. Using what we learned in part 3, next filter the results so we don't show the system accounts. To begin, click on the Data tab. The leftmost item will be labeled Filter. Click on it. A new dialog box appears. For now, we are going to concentrate on using the Visual tab rather than the Text tab. Remaining on the Visual tab, click on the plus sign next to the word AND. A new line appears. Click inside the field labeled Serial Number and you'll see that it's a drop-down menu. Scroll up in this menu until you find the entry labeled Account Type Description and click on it. Next, click in the field labeled Begins With, and again a drop-down menu appears. From this menu, locate the item labeled Does Not Equal and click on it. Finally, click in the field labeled Enter a Value. This field is a text entry field. Type System Account with uppercase S and A. The complete line should read, Account Type Description does not equal System Account. When you click OK, you will get the same list, only the default system account will be missing. To get the customer ID and customer name headings to repeat, you'll need to do the following steps. First, highlight one row containing a customer ID and customer name. Don't highlight the heading, but the actual data. When a row is highlighted, right-click inside that area and select the menu item labeled Insert, which you'll notice has an arrow indicating a submenu. From the submenu, select the item labeled Insert Rows above. This will give you a new row above the customer ID and customer name. To more clearly see the new rows, which appear as blanks, click on the Layout tab and click the button labeled View Grid Lines. Click inside the blank above the customer ID and type Customer ID. Click inside the blank above customer name and type customer name. Highlight both rows again and go to the Design tab and click on Shading. select a shading for the header. Also on the Design tab, select the pen color as white. Next, select the Borders drop-down and pick the entry labeled All Borders. Make sure both fields are still highlighted and right-click. From the menu, select the item labeled Font. On the dialog that pops up, select white for the font color and click OK. This heading should look very similar to the main heading. Now click inside another blank line in the report and you'll see that the headings for Customer ID and Customer Name are repeated throughout the document. Now we simply need to clean things up. To get rid of the first heading so it doesn't appear twice, first delete the text from each cell one at a time. Highlight both cells. Go to the Design tab and select Shading and select white for the color. This should display a blank where the original heading was. Go into the heading for Contact Full Name and adjust the text so it says Full Name. Go into the heading for Web ID and change the text so that it says Web ID. Finally, adjust the contact password text to simply say Password. You've seen the power of the Master Detail Report, which is just a few of the basics. There are many other sections that can be reported on. We hope you found this informative and instructive. Come join us for part 5 of this series where we will focus on creating an advanced customer master file report.